Hello, and welcome to the Hall of Creation podcast. I'm Krisha,
And I'm Lance.
and we're coming to you from GP Studios here in Southeast Texas. And you want to tell them what's going on?
Well, my mom had left a comment on our last YouTube video talking about the lighting because she just loves to look at my beautiful face. And she was having a little trouble seeing my beautiful face. So I took a little time this week and made some lighting changes for this
Yeah,
episode. What do
yeah.
you think? You
Very
like it?
lovely, very romantic. Just a little low lighting.
Very,
Very
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 comforting.
personal.
Yeah.
Yes, oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you think that she'll still complain that the video's too dark?
I mean, everything's clear, right?
Well,
Clear as a bell.
we might be able to make it a little bit better if
Maybe,
we're honest
maybe.
about it.
Let's try. Let's try.
Let's hit this button. Oh, looky there. You want to try that again? My name is Lance, and this is...
I am Krisha, and welcome to the Hall of Creation podcast.
Welcome.
Sorry if last week was a little bit dark.
Little
We're
bit dark.
hoping.
Opening's like
Hoping.
opening. So you're opening the show and opening at the same time.
Right, we're hoping that this looks a little better, a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more alive. That we look alive and not,
Feel like that sometimes, though.
Right. So, this is our second podcast that we're coming to you.
Number 2.
Sunday evening, and the date is
24.
24th. Today is the 24th, Sunday the 24th.
Yeah, 24.
And I am bringing a topic, and we didn't really discuss this last time, but what we're actually doing is kind of coming together organically, and I have a topic that I have not shared because I want to see how he comes up with it. But you will see that there is a guitar in hand.
Oh, yeah, in both hands.
And there is a reason the guitar is here. But I do want to bring up my topic. And my topic is how, in both of our lives, how we had huge music influences.
I kind of see that in this room.
Influentially influenced, however you want to say that. Music was a huge, still is, was, is,
always will be.
always will be in some shape, form, or fashion. And just wanted to bring up how that has shaped both our lives and how differently we were raised and how it affected us differently and how we've been coming together, how different and how alike things can be.
Yeah, because you
with
were like...
music.
You liked hard rock, right? That's what you grew
I
up with?
loved hard rock. That was my jam.
Yeah, some metal, heavy metal stuff.
You know it. But I am, segwigging.
Segwigging. You got these words down tonight.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good with my vocabulary. I am basically ushering us into further conversation to discuss why this guitar is here. And my love, would you like to discuss why you are holding your guitar and what you will be doing with it this evening?
Well, apparently there's some Dolly Parton talk back in the news. What happened with that?
Well, on AGT, that is America's Got Talent.
Oh, you know the lingo.
I do. It's the AGT.
The AGT.
There was a 3 female country group that did a retake on the Jolene song and basically was like, you can have my man Jolene. And so of course it went viral. They were very cute. It was very hip. It was a great audition. And so in the process, Jolene has resurfaced the original where Dolly Parton sang about it and even shared the story that it was apparently based off of a true experience she had.
A true story.
She was going
Wow.
on the road, and in the process, some woman named Jolene was going to take her man.
She said, please don't take
Please, don't take my man.
Well, I have a true
Jolene."
story too, and since my mom watched our last podcast and she's been helpful to cue us in on the lighting, and hopefully we've taken care of that for you, Mom. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful that you're out there listening to us. But if you remember this, we were sitting outside of a grocery store, and it was a friend of yours, and for some reason you wanted me to sing the song Jolene to her. Well, little did I know that the song was about, a woman or about a man, and I'm not a woman. I was a boy, but Anyway, so let's see how this goes here.
All right.
All right.
So basically, Mama, this is dedicated to you.
Dedicated to you, Mama. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare. Flaming locks of auburn hair with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring. Your voice is like a summer rain. Cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can easily understand you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Jolene, 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 Jolene. There you go, Mama. Dedicate that one to you.
That was for you, Mama. Awesome. You did a very good job, my love.
Let's get a
very, very good job.
reverb off of us.
Awesome, awesome.
Maybe we can get you to sing a song one of these times.
Maybe so. Maybe in the future. Who knows? Obviously, I know I have the most amazing voice in the world.
Oh, yes, you do. You have a beautiful voice. Beautiful voice.
No. We all need more practice to get even remotely a titch better than what we are, even as horrible as
We
might think we
practice
are.
and then we get older and then we need to practice more because we're older
Right.
and we
right,
sound
right.
older and we feel older.
So, I guess I'm going to open this up by asking you. You just shared that story. By the way, can you switch our screen?
Oh, sure.
You shared the story of having to sing that or getting to sing that for your mom's friend in the car. So, can you give me a little bit of your upbringing with music and what it meant to you as a child?
Country all the way. I do remember a story that my mom might remember as well. Sitting in our dining room listening to, I had a little tiny record player, kind of toy record player, and she had a bunch of records and 45s. If nobody's going to even know what a record is, Krisha, this is how bad this is.
I know what you're talking about.
You know, and my mom will know, but sitting
Other
there
people will know.
playing
Yeah.
records and trying to pick out, without looking at the record, the title to the song. And I would just sit there and play another record and try to pick out the title to the song. And usually with a country song, it's pretty simple because it's generally in the chorus somewhere. And you
Right,
know,
right.
So that was one of my childhood memories. But my mom was a musician as I grew up as a child, and she played at the state fair, and she played in nightclubs and other places, and we even played in a flower shop one time. It was really
In
nice.
a flower
In a
shop.
flower shop, or a plant shop, flower shop, I guess. It had a lot
Like
of
selling
plants.
flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all were just in the corner.
Yeah, we were in a corner, and there was a little dance floor there. It was so beautiful, though, because I mean,
Wow.
it's an idea I would have never thought of to take a place like that, because you already got all these plants everywhere, and
Right.
even as a kid, I still remember that to this day. So,
Wow. That's awesome.
definitely grew up country.
So tell
Country
me,
family.
when you talked about your mom being in the nightclubs and things like that, tell me about your experience that a lot of other youth would not have.
Be more specific.
How you would also go with your mom when you were younger
Oh
to,
yeah, yeah. I'd go out and play drums. Even that was my
and
big
how old were
experience.
you?
Ugh, I don't remember. You always
Gi-
ask me
well, give
ages and
it,
times.
give an idea, give a perspective
I
to
shouldn't have been in the nightclub,
exactly
but
the
that's a different time, and
totally different time, very innocent,
of
you
course, then
know.
again, they're letting little kids in nightclubs now to do
Yeah.
transvestites or transsexual
Well,
or
in
whatever. I
certain
don't even know the
clubs,
names for stuff.
you can have children there to a certain time, depending on the kind of facility. If it has a restaurant associated with
Yeah,
it.
but I innocently played drums, and of course, anytime that I would, sit with my mom while she was working or something, she'd invite me up to sing, and that was always nerve wracking, but scary, nerve
Yeah,
wracking. Not, I loved it actually. It was fun, and I think other people liked it. But
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Unchained Melodies was my big song.
Unchained Melody.
Yeah,
So, would you say you're about what, 12, 13,
I guess I don't know. Do the
11,
math.
12, something like that?
I was down there.
All right. And obviously, having that be
I
a
think I was
part
a
of
little older than that because I had my drum set.
when did you? Oh, you got your drum set after
Yeah, I wouldn't have had my drum
after
set until I
back.
was 16, 15, 15.
So you were a little bit older,
Yeah.
but still too young, really, to be in the nightclubs.
What
To
kind of
be
point you trying to
playing.
make here, huh?
That's. I'm just referencing how it wasn't. It was a rarity. It was rare what you were doing.
Mm.
It wasn't the norm,
No, it wasn't the norm, but
but it was your
I'm
mom,
sure it's
and you
been
were
done.
playing with your mom. So that's
You got
awesome.
to say that very carefully now. Playing with your mom. I was playing drums while my mom played piano and sang.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And then when it came to later on in life, share about how you were a part of a band for a while.
Well,
Very short while.
I don't know if you could call anything I was with musically would have been called a band. I
Well, I'm
mean,
talking about with Gustavo.
yeah, we played music together, but well, we went and played at one bar and it didn't go over that well.
But
But we
still.
got our free drinks, so I mean, that was the payment for playing.
And you're saying that you listened to, like, when you were growing up, what kind of music were you surrounded with?
Oh, I was all over the place. I've always loved all. I didn't know this was going to be an interview about me.
Because I'm going to talk about me in a minute.
Oh,
And I
okay.
know if I don't ask you these questions, you won't open up on your own. So
No.
I'm asking all these to reference how what I'm going to talk about me and
Well, I
my
grew
life
up
with
on country
music.
music and rock and roll, and I didn't go too far out, but in the '90s was hip hop, and had those late night jams playing on the radio that we listened to as kids. I'm sure most people in my age group did. So, does that
Okay.
answer it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, music has always been a huge influence on your life. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
when you were a child to when you were a teenager to when you have been an adult to the point that now, I guess you're still an adult, but I don't know. It's still a part of your life. It's still a huge part of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, with, of course, I mean, kind of referenced
Mm.
stuff that you have going on because this is, of course, your studio.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I
right.
make
So,
music here.
still do
Mm.
music. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I just wanted you to talk about all that because the subject was, of course, how music has influenced each of us. And I wanted to talk about how I was brought up.
Oh boy, here we go. Here
And
we
this, of
go.
course, is, this is loaded. This is different because what you describe is a pretty, I think, a normal childhood for a lot of children in the, you're a 70s baby. You were born in the 70s.
For those,
So,
let me stop you for a second. For
sure.
those that aren't aware, that didn't watch the last podcast, we're husband and wife.
Oh,
We've been
yeah.
married since '96,
Right.
so been around each other for a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be
Eh,
26 years in 2 weeks.
We also didn't correct
3 weeks.
the delay on the vocal there. I noticed, so our voice is still
Uh
off.
oh.
But
We're going to have to fix
I
that.
took care of the lighting. Gonna have to deal with the
Yeah.
delay on the vocal for now.
There you go. There you go. So,
Anyway, hope it didn't
all right.
distract you too much.
No, because that'll kind of help me segue. Ooh, using the
Big
segue word
words.
again.
I didn't know you knew
Um,
words like that.
It'll help me segue into how we met
Mhm.
and music being a part of our lives then and how music was a part of my life growing up. So, not to get too far into this subject, but I was brought up Pentecostal.
Pentecostal.
And of course, I meant bun hair, dresses, no makeup. Um, Church was priority. Like, I went to school and I had school friends, but I rarely hung out with school friends outside of school because outside of school, it was you associated with your church family, you associated with your church friends, and there were youth retreats and blah, 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 getting together with the church all the time. So I was brought up on Pentecostal music, as in, I'm so glad my sins away.
I was trying to do the offbeat.
Right. Either way, you could do on, off, however you can get it going. I mean, the choirs.
The color of your skin also determines whether it's on the 2 or the.
Not necessarily.
3 or
It depends really about your rhythm. Really, it's about your rhythm.
I just have to say the white people ain't got good rhythm. I'm just, I'll be honest.
Well, a big difference between.
They can't jump either, but that's for a different movie.
Right, exactly. A big difference between our upbringing is my parents. How do I say this? You were supposed to listen to, because I was brought up so religious, you were supposed to listen to Christian music all the time, as in, should be hymns, should be all Jesus music all the time, no matter what. My parents would sneak
all
in.
All Jesus all the time on Jesus Radio Network.
My parents would sneak in like Bread or Don McLean, I think.
I thought you were talking about food there for a second. You're talking about the music group. I was like, man, is that really all you got to eat when you were a kid? Every now and then they would sneak in some bread.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah.
I was starved as a child.
Just got too much of the bread.
No, I'm so sorry.
Baby, I'ma want you.
Right.
Baby, I'ma need you.
But it was very selective what they would allow in. And kind of spilling over into movies, like my parents edited all our movies. Like there were so many scenes in movies I didn't know existed till I watched these movies later in life. So I had a very edited life, as in what went in. It was very selective on what went in, and it was very controlled on what went in. So there was a lot of music from 70s, 80s I didn't even know existed till after I got married to this man. And he opened my eyes, but he also scarred me in a lot of ways. The
arguments
existed.
from telling you certain things are in a movie, and you said, no, it's not in that movie. I said, yes, it's in that movie.
Well,
and then you had to watch the movie to find out what was taken out of the movie. And the funny part is, a lot of the things they took out are just like rated G now anyway. So
yeah, they were just trying to shelter us. But in the process, the kind of music that I listened to definitely influenced me, and the fact of, how do I say it? In school, I was different. I was definitely different. I went to a huge school, as in my graduating class had over 1,000 in it.
Yours is gonna fall off too, and we're all gonna get to laugh.
Stop! What are you doing?
Your mic looked like it was about to fall off.
Oh, okay. Be messing with my mic.
Hey,
sir.
technical difficulties. It's a new show. We'll get better.
Right. But I went to a huge school. In fact, it was like elementary, middle school, intermediate, and then high school. They had to break it down because we had so many kids. But I was always the different girl because I wore the dresses, and my friends were, I don't know, I didn't have best friends, but I had good friends, and I didn't really form to any clique because I was kind of in a realm all by myself. And you could say it sounded very lonely, but I think that's all I knew. I didn't know anything else. So I didn't have to be convinced that I was missing out because I didn't know the other side. I had no idea. No idea the kind of stuff. I never snuck out of my house, people. Never.
Never.
Not one time
Does that
did
make you
I sneak
does that
out of
make you
my
sad? Do you
house.
feel like you missed out on something?
No, it's just, high school parties. Never went to a high school
What would
party.
you have done if you had snuck out of your house?
Well, I mean, you see the movies.
But what would you have done in your lifestyle, the way that you
Probably met up with some friends and just went like driving.
none of your friends would
Or
have snuck out of their house?
no, none of my church friends would have for sure.
Well,
Because all their parents, ruled with the rod for sure. So, but, getting back to the subject, how music influenced me, I loved music. And for, I'm going to say maybe 3 to 4 months, me and my brother took lessons for a short while. And I was trying to learn how to play the piano. But neither one of us kept to it. Neither one of us had the patience for it. Our parents didn't make us keep to it. So even though we wanted to do it, it didn't last very long. And so
didn't you also play like a clarinet or something?
I played flute,
Flute.
yeah.
Flute. Your
When
brother
I got
played
in middle school.
Your brother played saxophone?
Is that what
Is that
he
right?
played? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know what your
Yes.
brother played, and I don't know what you played. That's great.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he played the saxophone. But once again, it only lasted both of us like a year or 2 years, maybe 3. But music was still a big part of our lives. But in my family, and if my mom watches this, God bless her, I love her with all my heart. But in our situation, and not situation, in our family, my mom was the singer. Like, she was the one that when we went to church, she played the church piano. She led the choir a lot. She
She
was
could
a
sing
singer.
good.
Yeah.
She could sing really good.
Amazing voice. I'm not discounting that whatsoever. But in my mind, I never looked at myself as a singer. I just looked at myself as a sing-alonger, if that makes sense.
Sing-alonger.
Like, if we open a hymnal, I'm gonna sing it. If we got songs to sing during church, I'm going to sing along, but I'm not a singer. I'm not one that's going to be up there with the microphone. I'm not one that's going to be singing a solo. I never put myself in that position. And so, I loved music. It was always a part of my life, but I never felt like it was a huge part of my life. And then after we met, and of course, you were a family friend to our family. This was back in '96. You and my mom were really good friends.
We worked together.
You worked together, but also what
And then
connected
we went
you?
to church. And then what?
But also what connected you?
Music, I guess.
Music,
Yeah.
right.
We talked about it a
Right.
lot. Yeah.
So, and you guys even, you would get together and play together. You would sing together. That was a thing that y'all did for a while, and that's what connected you. Y'all even made a tape together where you did music. So that was a
Did
big,
we?
yeah.
Okay. I didn't really
I'm-
remember that one.
I
I'm
think
going
at the
through-
ranch.
I made a tape at the ranch. I'm gonna have to go through. I'm gonna find some of the old music and
I
put it
thought
up
you told me,
online.
okay, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe it was your mom that was playing. It was either your mom or my mom that played with you on one of your songs and that you had recorded.
I don't know.
But anyway, when we got together, when we joined forces and got together, I understood how important music was to you. And, not to get too involved in this, but we both know we've had a lot of struggles in our life with music being a focus, in what degree and where everything fits and how our puzzle pieces come together to fit. But
I know the pieces fit. Yep.
the whole point is music is a huge part of our lives. And I'm just wondering, what would life be like without music? Would we
Boring.
but would we be able to survive? Because they say, love in any language.
Yeah.
Music is love. And the whole fact that I can hear somebody else, I don't maybe not understand a word they say in their language, but I feel the connection to it.
This one up here that they can't see says music is what feelings sound like.
Exactly.
That's one of my favorite ones. And then there's this one. Let's see. Laughter is the music of the heart. Dance as if no one is watching, sing as if no one is listening, and live each day as if it were your last.
Right.
And what's this one say up here? Laughter
Laughter
is the music
is
of
the
the
music
soul.
of the soul.
Music is one of those universal languages that,
Mm-hmm.
even as an instrumental, you can connect people hearing music. You don't even have to have words. It transcends
Right.
words, vocabulary.
Well, I'm sure it's the same for you, but I have a select few of songs that when I hear them, I'm immediately taken to a place.
Yeah.
I'm taken to some point in my life, and some of it's good thoughts, some of it's not. Some of it's very personal, some of it makes me laugh when
Well, it's
immediately when I
funny.
think about it.
It's like a magnet how songs connect to situations, and
Right.
how, I guess, because we also use music a lot when we're overcoming situations, but we connect to words through songs because of a situation we're going through, and then we hear that song again, and I'm automatically drawn back to there, and I'm living that situation, and I'm hearing the same words that were spoken to me. I don't know if instrumentals do that or not.
I think it's all about, perspective, what you're going through in the moment and how you connect with whatever piece you're listening to, whether it's instrumental, whether there are words, because, per circumstance, you might be going through something and you hear this song and it affects you this way. And then you get through that and you hear that song again and it affects
Mm,
you completely different because you're
yeah.
no longer in that situation.
Yeah, good point.
So, music is very influential in mood. And, you know, I know there's a lot of songs that we connect with tragedy, death, unfortunate, the loss of a relationship or friendship. And so to hear things like that, we don't want to hear them. But then even when we hear them, they can put us in this place that we don't want to be,
Right.
and it's very hard sometimes to get out of that, but it can also put us in amazing places. So music is very, very, very strong. I think it's a strong entity in of
Well,
itself.
it opens, nearly every event that you can think of. There's some kind
Hmm.
of music opening that event. And in movies, without music in movies, the movie, it just wouldn't have
It
the
would not.
same
It would not. It would
wouldn't have
not
the
be the
same
same at
passion.
all. It
Yeah,
would not mean the same.
it stirs so many different emotions.
Hmm.
Like, I think even beyond words, music stirs emotions. Like, some people can be immune to a cuss word, and you say this one particular cuss word, like maybe the GD, and some
Yeah.
people, it takes them to a place like, I can't hear
I
that. It's like
can't
nails on a
hear.
chalkboard.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure that you can top that. Music hits a level that just transcends words.
So let me ask you this. Do you think there's going to be music in heaven?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And how do you think music will be in
All of it.
heaven?
All of it.
You mean instruments? You mean voices? Will it come from anything specific or will it just come from everything?
Well, there's that prayer, and it says, "On earth as it is in heaven." I think that we imitate a lot of things here on earth that are going to be present in heaven. Obviously, you're going to leave out some of the more gory stuff, right? You'd think.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
there's some stuff that says some bad things, and I don't think, those ideas are going to go to heaven anyway.
Right.
So those words and those thoughts through those songs aren't going to be present there, I don't believe. But any type of music, I can't imagine a certain sound. Like when dubstep came out, there was all these videos on YouTube, people playing dubstep for their grandma and grandpa and letting them listen to it. It's so funny watching
So
their
cute.
reactions.
Yes.
But it was different. It was probably the one of the most unique in my lifetime, other than when hip hop started. So
It's funny too. You mentioned hip hop that um, there was a long while for a lot of my life that I loved hip hop. I don't know.
yeah.
But I think I've told my parents this. I can't remember, but you know, my brother and I growing up in such a religious home that we went to a few different churches, and depending on the church, depending on the lacks of things allowed. And so we went to one church that they would not allow us to watch TV. Like my dad did the whole, he would get a computer monitor and he would get a VCR and we would watch specific movies that were edited, nothing on TV, nothing uncontrolled. But then we went to this one church that, they didn't care. Have TV, have cable. So we got cable. Well, in the process, my brother and I discovered MTV.
MTV.
And
music
this was,
television,
right,
which is not music anymore.
But this was in the 80s, in the
Right.
late 80s where it was.
Right.
It was actual music. So, and at this time, my mom and dad would both get home around maybe 5 or 6, and my brother would get home earlier, probably around 3:30 or 4. We'd get off the bus, so we had about 2 hours before our parents got home. Well, we had this speaker system in our living room. And so we knew just how to tune everything. So as soon as we get home, we tune everything to set it to MTV, and we would blare our MTV, and we would listen to the music, and we would dance all over the living room, and we would have such a good time. And then right before we knew our parents were going to get home, we put everything back the way it was supposed to, the right different channel, put all the little stuff back, and then we went to our rooms and we were doing our homework. When mom and dad walked in the door, like, oh yeah, just doing my homework.
Mom, I'm just going to let you know I'm not going to tell those kind of secrets on this podcast. I know you're watching, so.
So, but anybody else, that would have been fine. But in our house, it was almost a sin. Like, it was allowed to have cable, but it necessarily wasn't allowed to be listening to that kind of music.
Other than
So-
smoking a cigarette, I can't think of anything that I did that we hid from our parents that, well, the typical what teenagers do, smoking some weed and smoking cigarettes, those type of things you don't tell your
See,
parents. But
Weed
you
was
didn't
not
do that
even
type of,
like.
right, you're bad.
My bad was
MTV.
lying to my parents. My bad was no, or I don't know how to say it. No, I didn't take that second cookie. Like, oh, that was horrible.
Who took
Or-
the cookie from the cookie jar?
I don't know how to describe it. I'd never snuck out. My parents also, good Lord, I'm not trying to tell on them, but
God bless them.
they were amazing disciplinarians.
Disciplinarians.
We could be in a crowded room, and if I was acting up, my mom could look at me from across that room, not have to say a word to me, and I would stop. I would,
Collaborate and listen.
if I had to go sit in a corner and collect myself, but I knew when I get home we were going to talk about the reason she had to give me that look. I knew it wasn't over with. So I know I better watch my P's and Q's because she's going to be watching me for the rest of the night anyway. So, I didn't have means to act up because I didn't want to have the wrath of my parents come down on me. But I love them. I didn't think of them as mean or abusive. It wasn't like that. I just knew that there were
They weren't.
consequences.
That was just their form of discipline, and
Yeah.
I mean, it worked.
There were consequences.
It
if I
worked.
messed
You
up,
turned
right?
out amazing.
So- yeah, I'm so awesome.
You are. You're amazing to me.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Yeah.
You're so sweet that you
Yeah,
say
you're
that.
perfect until you're not.
Right.
Oh.
Quit pulling on my chair. You're gonna pull me back. Goodness gracious. But my whole point to it all is we definitely had different experiences with music. But you opened my eyes to a whole new world after we got married.
I wasn't.
70, like the kind of music that you grew up on, I
Well, but
didn't know about so
At first,
much
at
of
least
that
we were in
music.
church and we were listening to a lot of church music. We even went to a Christian concert, Avalon and Crystal Lewis.
Right, but I'm referencing how I had like maybe 5% influence when it came to the world's music compared to 95% church music.
Well, you say that, but then every time I put on a 90s hip hop song, you know every word to the
Because
song.
when that time came around for MTV,
Then-
my brother and I, every day we did this.
Okay.
Like, we listened to, I don't even remember the names, but they would do like beach parties. and like
Yeah.
they would have a DJ
Spring
out.
break.
Yeah, spring break, and they would just play song after song, and people would be dancing, and they'd be doing the new dance, and oh man, I can't even remember like whoop, there it is,
Whoop day.
and then oh gosh, I can't even remember them all. But I don't know, I learned a lot of dances. I forgot. Oh my gosh, I went to one school dance.
You did?
I am just now remembering. My parents allowed me to go to one
Can I still
school
get this
dance.
wedding annulled, this marriage annulled? This is information I was not aware of 26 years ago.
It was when I was in intermediate, so this would have been ninth grade, I think. I'm going to say it was ninth grade.
Yeah.
So we probably, whatever church we were going to, they were lax at the moment to allow me to go. Either we were backslidden or something. But I remember I just hung out with a group of girls.
For those that you don't know, that means out of church, backslidden.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah. Not following the strict rules that were put before us. But yeah, me and some girlfriends, we had like, it was like 7 or 8 girls and like 2 guys.
Did you dance with anybody?
That's what I'm saying. Like we all
you
we
all
got
danced
in a circle
together
and we danced
That's what
around
you do
this
at that
one
age,
guy.
though. Really, I don't know anymore, though. Things have surely changed.
We thought we were some. We thought we had it. We were.
Oh, I saw
you out there giving it.
That would have been about the time. I know it's
Giving
probably
it.
a little older than that. When you went to the mall for your birthday, I remember all those pictures with you.
Yeah, that's
doing
when
your,
I was
your
like.
modeling show.
When we went to the mall, I was probably like 13.
What kind of music were you listening to then?
Mostly church music.
Because you had church friends.
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. When I say I listen to church music, I would like, even not around my parents, I was listening to church music. This is the kind of music I knew.
Yeah.
Now there was, when I got older, there were times that I would leave my house, listen to whatever I want, and then turn it back to a Christian. A Christian, either radio station or tape or something before I got back home.
Before we actually started dating, there you would come driving home in the van, and from all the way down the road, I could hear the music playing out the window of the van, and it was some Christian music, but you was just clapping and singing all the way up into the drive.
A lot of times that was absolutely real. I wasn't just being...
Right when you turn the corner to your house, then flip. Just like you did with MTV.
I
we know
said
your
a lot
MO.
of times.
We know your MO.
But in general, that's what I grew up on. Like, I didn't even know a lot of other music because we didn't have YouTube back then.
Right.
We didn't have any means. Like, if I didn't have it there in my home, you had to go to a store and buy this music before you could hear it.
Does it make you feel old that the internet came out in our lifetime?
Well, so many things make me feel old. Like being old makes me feel old.
Makes me feel old. Exactly. I was listening to a guy earlier today, and he was eating this hot chocolate stuff that was like 9 million Scovilles or something of chocolate.
What's a Scoville?
It's like the measurement of how hot something is.
Of chocolate?
Yeah, it was a chocolate that had heat added to it through some kind of pepper, ghost pepper or something. I don't really know. But anyway, he was eating it, and it was just tearing him up. And somebody said something about, does the chewing it up make it hotter or make it feel hot or something like that? He says, no, it's just the eating the thing that makes it feel hot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there it is.
So let me ask you this. Remember in the movie Titanic, because, I think
I wasn't at the real one. I know I'm old. You see the gray hair, but I was not on the Titanic.
Really? I thought you had a survival story. It's accounted in they do it in the movie, but it is accounted that this actually happened, that towards the end they decided to play play the violins and play the whatever instruments they had. They decided to play as the ship.
You've been doing good.
As the ship was sinking, they decided to play it out as long as they could because they knew, this was the end. So let me ask you, would you take music to the grave with you? Is music so ingrained in you that you feel it was there in the beginning and it'll be there with you at the end?
If I could play my own song at my own funeral, I would.
Yeah.
If I could play and sing my own funeral song, I would. Maybe I'll even have one ready on a tape if anybody knows what that is.
Wow, hold on.
They'll have to look around for a tape deck somewhere to be able to play it. Bless you.
My goodness. That was a sneezing attack that came up like 30 minutes ago.
I
that
just
finally
showed
tracked.
I'm wearing shorts. I just showed off my knee.
Don't do that. Don't show off your. Don't. This is not that kind of podcast.
It's not.
So, what kind of song would you play at your eulogy? Would it be rock? Would it be a instrumental? Would it be piano?
Oh,
would
it'd
it
be a
guitar?
musical. It'd have to be a musical for sure. No, I'm just kidding.
A musical?
No, I'm just kidding.
Like dancing?
Yeah. I'll have a whole choir and everything come out. Sure.
Okay. All right. Would you want a? Would you want a spring loaded coffin that when the music?
Oh yeah, that would be great. And then I could pop up with a microphone in my hand, right? Just like one of those books where you open the book and it pops up. Sure.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I want to set that up.
That's crazy. I mean, I know death is. Gosh, I hate thinking about it seriously, so of course I have to make fun of it the other way.
It's all around.
Death is all about transition, and we're all in transitions every day of our life. So
some people in other transitions,
Right.
and we don't want to transition.
But I bet you that would be a first, like a purposeful, spring-loaded coffin.
There wouldn't be a first, I don't think.
Well, I don't know. That would be
No, it's
amazing.
kind of.
Let me ask you this. This
Tacky,
is
though.
definitely, once again, we have segued. But let me ask you this. There are people that do this thing, and I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like a staged death, a staged funeral, as in they put you doing something. Like you're sitting in a chair, reading a book, propped up in your recliner. Or you're standing in the corner
I don't know.
looking all cool at your own funeral.
I mean, isn't it kind of weird that we go look at the dead body anyway? I know people got to say their goodbyes, and that's probably the only way to do it, but it feels like a weird practice to go look at a dead body. I mean, you wouldn't go look at a dead body any other time.
Man, this is, everyone knows this is such an
Unless you were a
uncomfortable-
CIA, a detective or something.
subject, but
If you had
yeah.
to go, look at dead bodies. But I wouldn't go just around looking at dead bodies. That wouldn't be my thing.
Oh, wow,
saying.
wow. Well, that got dark
Hey,
really quick.
you took it there. You're the one that
Well-
used to actually like going into cemeteries and reading headstones.
Okay, but that is I don't know what that is. That is a different story, but I do.
You got us in a cemetery in the middle of the night one time.
Well, that
We're going to talk about where it went to, but you got us in a cemetery.
Stop. You're going to make it sound all
It didn't
weird
go
and
that far, guys.
mysterious.
Now, come on.
No, nothing crazy like that. But it was a story. It was a little
Quite
story.
a story.
Took us on a little adventure. But I don't know. I do. I enjoy going into cemeteries. But this is the crazy thing. Speaking of music, I don't know how many songs that I listen to that are from the 50s and 60s, and I'll listen to them and I love the song, and then I'll have this weird, creepy thought of, the person that sang this is dead. There's no way that they would still be alive. Like they were this age when they made
Well,
this
from
song.
the 50s and 60s. Come on, you got to go a little further back than that.
Well, but I'm talking even when they were older. I mean, there's some of these people that were in their 50s and 60s, in the 50s and 60s.
50s and 60s, right.
So that definitely, they ain't around no longer. So it's
But there was
crazy.
so
Life
many
is
good
such
songs,
a trip.
though. The attitudes of people, it seemed, in songs, the music that was written was just completely different. Now it just, if it's not about sex or...
Well, and I was going to say that too.
I don't know what
I
else.
used to love hip hop. Like, this is a hip hop
Sex,
kind of
guns,
girl.
drugs,
But that's what I'm
alcohol.
saying. Nowadays, it's all about the same. Anything you listen to, it's about shaking it. It's about money. It's about drugs.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
there
about
is other
guns.
parts of life.
Territory.
there's other things in life. I mean, sing about a chessboard or something. I don't know.
Right.
Just come up
Right.
with something other than just the typical
Exactly.
sex, drugs, guns. It's for us back in the day. Rock and roll was in there. No, it's hip hop.
But what's crazy too is now I can, like, just the other day, don't necessarily want to quote it in this one, but listening to I guess you call it a 70s radio station, and I heard a song that I just realized what they were talking about was referencing.
Oh, the stroke it. Oh, you didn't
I
want
said
me to say
I
it.
didn't want you to say it.
It's a
'Cause
song. It's a song, and
just trying to keep it clean.
sorry.
But yeah, I guess I hadn't realized what that song.
Stroke me, stroke
Stop
me.
it!
Sorry, it's a
Stop
it's
it!
in the song.
It does not matter.
It doesn't matter. It's in the
It's an
song.
inappropriate song, really, to
Yeah,
reference.
probably is.
I would think it's inappropriate, but I'd never realized what I think it means now. And I did not know that before, and I've heard that song I don't know how many times. So how many other songs have I heard and I don't realize they got those kind of lyrics
You're
in
walking
it?
through church singing some of these songs, and it's like, no, no. Apparently, you
That'd be
didn't read the
horrible.
words.
That would be horrible. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, it is funny though. Now that you brought that up, thinking of some of the songs that we played at weddings when we were DJs, they don't pay attention to the words, and
They
you're like,
don't.
you're playing a leaving song. 5 of these songs in your DJ
That is
sets
so
about
true.
leaving
The song
somebody.
gets popular, so they're like, I want this at my wedding. And then you're like, do you know this is about a breakup?
Right.
Doesn't matter. I love the song.
I love it.
Right. So it's like sometimes it's about the beat, it's about the popularity of it. Sometimes it's just about the chorus. It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter what they said in the verse. I like the chorus.
Just sounds good.
Right, right.
I got kind of bored with music lately. It's weird.
Well, I think there's so much in the world to be looking at that it's hard to focus on
Yeah.
music. And when there's not a lot of good music to get inspiration from to further your own music, it's really hard to.
I would love to
get
see
that
a new
inspiration.
genre develop. I watched dubstep when it came out and watched the birth of it all the way to the death of it, basically. But
Right.
it would be nice to see something different. But I don't know where you'd go. Where would you go? Because I still love country. I still love old school rock. I don't listen to a lot of new rock, although I do like, Linkin Park. I guess you can't say they're new rock. And now Chester's gone. And I like Metallica, but you can't call them new rock. They're kind of old rock now. So,
Well, let me share with you a fun experience I've been having
Oh.
lately.
these
Which-
cool stations you've been listening to in your radio.
I have found myself this station, and I live in, like I said, Southeast Texas. I am 95% sure it's like a local station, but it's called The Wolf, and they actually howl like a wolf. It's The Wolf. Ow.
Oh.
But they play like they played like Dennis the Menace the other day. Dennis the Menace. I did not even know there was a Dennis the Menace song.
Oh my
They
gosh.
play like old school country songs I've never heard of before in my life, and I am loving listening to it. I am having the biggest kick listening to it.
That's because it's something different.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I find myself, I don't even know about hip hop anymore. Like occasionally I'll see something on YouTube that I'll hear a song that I like, but in general, I couldn't tell you about hip hop. I couldn't tell you about pop.
Hip hop lost me when they went with that mumble rap stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
not my thing either.
Like words, please. If you're gonna use your mouth, use words.
Well, and the funny thing is, I laughed at this, but I think there's a truth to it. I was working in the service industry, and I was working with a bunch of younger people. I had some older people, but I also had a bunch of younger people. Now, I am pretty much the youngest in every group I hang out in.
That is true.
And so I don't have any other influence of any other music right now besides what I'm listening to. And I'm finding myself liking this older music. So I'm like, I'm there. I'm old. I think
Yeah.
I reached it. I think I have reached that age where I can officially say I'm old now.
Well, I wouldn't say old. You're just you're aged.
Well,
You've been around the block.
I don't know how to describe this. For
Maybe
the longest
that's not a
time,
good thing to say, is it?
I know I'm different. I will always be different. But for the longest time, I would have considered myself younger and acting younger. But I can easily be the get off my lawn woman when I need to
Truth
be.
is catching up to you. That's funny.
I'm getting annoyed by things that are
That's
like,
funny.
I'm going to call them out now.
I catch you walking through the house talking about old westerns and stuff too all the time because of Granny and Papa, and I think that's
Dude,
hilarious.
listen, this channel will sometimes play. They'll
Or the
play
polka.
Gunsmoke. They do like a little. It's because if it's a radio station, it's like a radio broadcast of Gunsmoke from back in the 50s or 60s, and I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know what has happened. I'm transitioning. Here's that transition again. We're in transition. Maybe that's the word of the week.
Word of the week, transition. I don't know.
Transitions.
There's some people transitioning to things that they probably shouldn't be transitioning to. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's amen to that. Amen to that.
So I think we've kept it pretty real during this
yes,
podcast.
we have. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it.
Nice little chit chat.
Definitely, music has always been a big part of our life. Always will be a big part of our life. Has been, will be, is now, and
Well, and two of my kids I know for sure love music, so they're into music pretty heavy. So
well, and I think you have to be a rarity if you don't connect with some kind of music. If it doesn't do something for you and your soul and just make you feel feel it.
yeah,
Makes you feel it.
yeah. Not a lot of things that can connect people, but music can surely do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In this day and age, maybe we need more music. Bring
That's
that
what we
connection
need.
back.
Bring us together.
It's funny you'd mentioned it the other day about social media. It's just so true. I mean, it was supposed to connect us, or maybe it wasn't, but it surely hasn't. It's surely disconnected us more.
Right.
And I don't know if that's because of honesty or things like that, but that's for another podcast for sure.
Right.
Well, Krisha, you want to shut this one down?
Absolutely. Thank you, folks, for joining
you.
us once again. Like I said, if you have a topic that you might want us to talk about, there's so much to be discussed. We obviously went a little bit lighter with the conversation today
Like
to
a
discuss
feather.
music, but it's a huge part of our lives. Want to make sure it's relevant and it's
That's
known
probably
about.
why that guitar's back there. That's why there's music notes. Yeah.
And you can't even see what's happening on this side.
Oh, that side is
music everywhere. So, anyway, if you got any discussions that you would like us to talk about, any topics, make sure you comment below.
Down below.
Right down below.
Down
Below.
Down below.
And we love you very much. Thank you for joining us, Hall of Creation, here at GP Studios in Southeast Texas. Have a wonderful, blessed night. I'm Krisha.
I'm Lance.
All right. We'll see you folks next time.
On the next one. I'm sure there's a stop button in here somewhere.
Right there.
Let's
All
see
right,
if we
love
can
y'all.
find the stop button. Was that it?
Oh, that
That
was
was
it.
not the stop button.
Lighting.
All right, we love you all. See you
All right.
next time.
See you next time. Bye.